Hey everyone, I'm Adam Lehrhaupt, and welcome back to Picture This, the podcast where we turn stories into strategies for your classroom and picture books into powerful tools for learning. This week, we're going to talk about why picture books are perfect for tough topics. 7 or 8 years ago, I was doing some visits with a librarian, and she told me, a lot of my fifth graders think they're too cool for picture books. And unless somebody dies or something explodes or aliens attack or dinosaurs and unicorns show up, they really aren't as interested in a story. And after she said that, we both shared a laugh because we both know that there are great picture books out there that are not just appropriate for her fifth graders, but for middle school students, high school students, college students, and even adults. As a matter of fact, I was there to share my story, There Was a Hole, because picture books go deep, really deep. And when you find a picture book like There Was a Hole that gets to the bottom of really big emotions, that can sometimes be a really good boon for your students in your class. So in this episode, we're going to talk about these big ideas for big kids and big ideas for little kids. How picture books can be used to explore themes like grief, identity, environmentalism, and even justice. These kinds of stories can spark honest conversation and emotional growth. And those are the stories that we're going to move into. One of the things that I love about picture books is they offer a certain amount of safety. Even though you're going to talk about a complex idea, that idea is wrapped up in a story that's accessible for even the youngest readers or listeners. You know, as we know, a lot of the times we're reading the story to a group of kids. So a picture book will let a student try on these hard emotions or these big ideas in a very safe space by seeing how these characters react to those situations. And as we've talked about before, picture books are quick. We can get through a whole discussion about a difficult topic in less time than it takes for me to record this episode. Actually, it takes me a long time to record these episodes. Let's say less time than it takes you to listen to these episodes. So in a picture book, you have the text, you have the powerful illustrations, and all of these things give the learners space to process the ideas visually, to process them emotionally, and to process them mentally. As I said, you can finish a 32-page picture book very quickly, and then suddenly you're ready to talk about fairness, resilience, loss, or hope for something better, something different. So we're going to start today talking about the book I mentioned at the beginning. It's called There Was a Hole, and it was written by me, Adam Lehrhaupt, and it was illustrated by the wonderful Carrie. And this picture book explores a lot of different themes: emotional regulation, the importance of connection, and even how to deal with something that's missing. Whether it's grief about losing a person or a pet or a favorite doll, or if it's dealing with a situation like moving or issues in the family where maybe somebody is away for work, right? Anything that creates that hole inside of you. This book follows Lily, a girl who's navigating a big, gaping emotional hole. And her hole keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because she doesn't know how to help herself. Yeah, it's metaphorical, but it's real enough that a kid will definitely instantly understand what we're talking about. So for this one, we can use it as a read aloud to begin conversations about difficult topics. Or we can use this as a way to get kids to think about emotional topics. So we don't necessarily need to say, how are you feeling? We can have them imagine, right? Create your own emotional metaphor. So what would you use? I used a hole in my book, and that hole literally is inside of Lily. but maybe you see your thing differently. Something dark and black that's taking over, like in the Thunderbolts movie. So this movie shows the depth of despair that this character has, and it becomes a blackness that takes over the whole city. Is it something like that? So let them explore how they would envision this type of sadness. What does their sadness look like? Or what does joy look like to you? Is it sunshine? Is it rainbows? Is it unicorns? Is it dinosaurs? It can be anything. It can be everything. And they can draw it, they can write it. You know how to do this. Whatever activity we can put onto that, and it scales. You can have first graders do this. You can have 12th graders do this. They can write a whole thing. They can create a whole story that maybe you take that into some younger grades and share with the younger grades and see how they respond to it. The next book I want to talk about today is The Blue House by Phoebe Wall. And this is a story that explores change and displacement and emotional safety. One's about a boy and his father, and they are forced to leave a home that they love. It's a quietly powerful and incredibly relatable story. So when we're thinking about activities for a story like this, we have to ask our students to take the place of that person. Every single one of us has been asked to do something we don't want to do, whether it's clean your room, walk the dog, be nice to your sister or brother. All these different things. Everyone has had an experience where they have to do something that they don't wish to do. And we can create an activity around what is something that makes you feel safe. What would it be like if you were asked to leave that safe place? How would you tell the story of that? How would you cope with that? How might you be able to say, I'm writing a story about tag. When you get caught, you go to the base, right? So you're stuck in the base. But when somebody comes and tags the base, you get set free. Turn it around. Maybe you're stuck somewhere, you need to be set free. Maybe you want to go somewhere. Or maybe you've gone on vacation and you had a great time on vacation, but it's time to go home. Or write about your summer. But instead of write what was great about your summer, write about what it was like to leave summer behind. What is it like to go from a safe place to a place where everything's new? We're starting a new school year. How do we approach that new school year in a unique and different way? And this is a great story for connecting to that, because summer is a safe place. The last book that I want to talk about in this section is What If, Pig? By Lindsay Hunter. And this is a story about anxiety, worry, friendship, stress. And I have a couple of people that I know very, very well who are a lot like Pig. A lot like Pig. And Pig worries all the time. Luckily, Pig's best friend Mouse helps him see that it's okay to not be okay. Sometimes worrying can be a good thing. And if you have good people around you, they can help you when your worrying gets to be too much. So this one is a great story for anyone who overthinks things or wants something to be perfect, or just the real worriers that you have in a classroom. So for this one, the activity that I like to do is a what if wall. Students can write down things they worry about. You write it down, you put it on the wall, and then other students can take people's worries down whenever they want and flip the card over, write something that is hopeful or helpful to reframe that worry. So maybe you take everybody's worries, collect them all at the end of class, and the next class you say, all right, everybody's going to get a worry, and think about that worry and think about what you could do to tell someone with that worry a way to reframe that, or a way to be hopeful about that and create a different narrative. Today's episode is brought to us by tissues. That's right, tissues for the read aloud that hits way harder than expected. Tissues for the kid who says, that's how I feel too. Tissues for you, the teacher, librarian, or parent who made space for those feelings. You're doing important work. And to help out, we've got a Big Ideas teaching pack you can download. Unfortunately, it does not come with tissues. You will need to supply those yourself. What it does come with is activities, the list of books that we're going to talk about today, reflection prompts, and it is all waiting for you at my website, adamlehrhaupt.com. And if that's too hard to spell, you can go to adaml.rocks and find all my links there. Welcome back. In the book bag today, we've got The Proudest Blue by Ibtihaj Muhammad, S.K. Ali, and illustrated by Hatem Ali. Please, let me know if I have pronounced your names wrong. I think I did a good job, but my tongue is way bigger than my mouth. This is a book that explores identity, confidence, standing tall in the face of judgment, and really sibling relationship as well. It follows the main character as her older sister wears a hijab to school for the first time. It is beautifully illustrated. It's emotionally layered and written by an Olympic medalist. For this story, my activity is to let students write or draw about something that makes them proud to be themselves. What makes you proud to be you? So for me, maybe it's one of my books. Maybe a day out with my kids. Something that's uniquely me that when I think about it, I want to tell other people. It can be sports related, music related, anything that they do or love or care about. And then you can create a classroom gallery titled Great Things About Me. You could take all these things and put them together in a compendium and send it home to the parents. Or you can just have them save it and reflect on it when they're having not so great a day. Today's story spark is, what's one part of who you are that people might not see right away, but something that matters to you? So for me, this might be that I am an avid reader. When I tell people how many books I read every year, they're always surprised. And I read hundreds of picture books because that's what I write. But I'm also writing chapter books, so I read dozens of chapter books. And then I also read adult novels. And every year I read 75 adult novels, including nonfiction, fiction, science fiction, fantasy, all different kinds of things. So that's something that really matters to me, but it's something that might not be apparent to people. And I'm sure I could write a great story or create a great creative drawing or something out of that. So what's the part of you that people might not see right away, but it really matters to you? And our listener challenge is read one of today's books aloud and start a conversation that you've been nervous to start. Then tell me how it went. Use hashtag Picture This Podcast on any of my socials or comment below. I really want to know how you connect to these stories and how you can use one of these in your own life. In closing, when we use picture books to talk about big feelings or real world issues, we give kids the language, the agency, and the understanding to start to deal with these topics themselves. We give them relatable characters, relatable situations in a compact, easy to access way that might help them start a conversation. Today's free download, the Big Ideas teaching pack, complete with book recommendations, activity starters, and discussion prompts, you'll find in the Picture This section of adamlehrhaupt.com. There's links below, or just stop by adaml.rocks and click on the link. Finally, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, or share this episode with a fellow educator, parent, librarian, or just inquisitive reader who's ready to go a little bit deeper. And if one of today's stories resonated with you or your students, I'd love to hear about it. Please reach out.